In 2015, a high school football coach in my hometown of Bremerton, Washington, named Joe Kennedy, was fired for praying on the 50-yard line after each game. He was stopped from doing this because he was an employee of a public school. Sadly, many have the wrong idea about this topic and as a result incorrectly believe that their rights have been violated. I'm a concerned citizen who wanted to understand the truth. Although some argue that the First Amendment was made to keep religion out of government, the truth is that it was made to keep government from regulating religion. The desire for religious freedom brought the Pilgrims to America. Our country was founded upon biblical principles. Our forefathers did not intend for God to be separate from government or religious freedom to be restricted, but they did not want government to regulate religion. To effectively establish the modern interpretation of separation of church and state is wrong. We need to take a brief look at our country's history. The desire for religious freedom brought the Pilgrims to America. After the Reformation, English people had access to Bibles in their own language for the first time. As a result, many began to object to the law made by King Henry VII requiring that all English people be members of the Church of England. They believed that the Bible specified other ways to worship. As a punishment for refusing to participate, many people were burned at stake or even beheaded. A driving force that gave people the desire to move to America was religious freedom. In a document known as the Mayflower Compact, they wrote that they came to the New World to bring glory to God, build a new colony, form united government, and create equal laws. Without question, biblical Christianity had been the dominant worldview in the English colonies in North America during the 1600s, providing the foundation for American civilization. The Pilgrims had a successful society because they followed the biblical principles and maintained proper relationship to God and to fellow men. Now that we have established the origins of religious freedom, let's jump ahead a few years. On October 7th, 1801, the Danbury Baptists wrote a letter to Thomas Jefferson expressing concerns that the government would attempt to control their religious expression. Jefferson responded to them in 1802 and used the term separation of church and state to assure them that the First Amendment prohibited government from controlling religion. The First Amendment was created by America's founders because of their desire to avoid something like the government-run Church of England. The goal was to abide by biblical principles by separating the church from government control. In his letter to the Danbury Baptists, Thomas Jefferson stated that he believed that religion is a matter which lies solely between man and his God. He then went on to make his famous statement that the legislator would make no law respecting an establishment of religion or prohibiting the free exercise thereof. This was the meaning behind the wall of separation. Once this is understood, my belief is that you will see. In the case with Joe Kennedy, the First Amendment rights of the students and public were not violated. As stated on the Wall Builders website, Jefferson did not intend for the government to limit or interfere with public religious practices. He believed, along with the other founders, that the First Amendment had been enacted only to prevent the federal establishment of a national denomination. According to the First Liberty, Coach Kennedy waited until players cleared the field, then took a knee and silently thanked God for his players. He continued doing this after every game for 7 years, and no students, coaches, or parents ever complained about it. After receiving a compliment from a school administrator about how they were really grateful for Coach Kennedy's leadership and great example for the team through his prayers, Bremerton High School responded with a demand letter to the coach threatening his fundamental right to free speech and religious exercise. The Billy Graham Evangelist Association and other religious groups urged the Supreme Court to take the case. The Constitution does not require schools to be policed as religion-free zones. Clearly, Coach Kennedy was in no way trying to establish a national denomination, which was why the First Amendment was put into place. As proven by the angry citizens in Bremerton, many argue that the First Amendment was made to keep religion out of government. The truth is that it was made to keep government from regulating religion. History states that the desire for religious freedom brought the Pilgrims to America and that our country was founded upon biblical principles. Our forefathers did not intend for God to be separate from government or religious freedom to be restricted, but they did not want government to regulate religion. My prayer is that before jumping on the bandwagon concerning this issue, that people would take time to examine the truth. Okay, stop recording.